Normally, it used to just be drugs and alcohol. Now it's technology. So I became addicted to this Narasimha thing and Narasimhadev's people. And in Ahobilam, they had this sense of ownership. Narasimha only belongs to us. He appeared here, so he is ours. And I love this concept because, I also felt he is mine. He is my Narasimha. And little did I know there were so many more. They even told me, they were so tricky, the Archakas, the Brahmins, they said, only a few temples in Andhra Pradesh. And then I met my friend Madhu, who spoke English. He said, actually, you should go to Yadgiri Gutta, Dharampuri, Matapali, Khammam, Guntur, Mangalagiri, Simhachalam, Malur, Vanaparti, so many, the list goes on. So I got lost in Andhra for months, searching for Narasimha. And each temple was different. I was used to the conventional form, maybe if she wants to take, because he's having a good time, but maybe she can take him out if he doesn't want to, because he's enjoying, So every place I would go, there would be like a cave. Andhra is famous for these cave temples, like Yadgiri Gutta. So I would go inside and there would be, on the wall of the cave, there would be some eyes and maybe a mouth. And they would say, Narasimha. And I would say, wait, how is that? What? Where is the deity? The Murla, the idol, the Utsava? No, Narasimha. And I didn't speak Telugu, so how did I know? I didn't know the Sthala Purana, nothing. There was no English books. There was no books. So later on, of course, I understood. Swayambhuv means self-manifested. So if all of us are sitting here and we all pray together, and Narasimhadev manifests on these curtains become non-different from Narasimha. If we all see him on the curtains. So I didn't understand this. So in Andhra, there was many abstract forms, there's many tribals. It blew my mind. And then from then after, each state, Tamil Nadu, Kerala, Karnataka, Maharashtra, Gujarat, so many temples in Gujarat. Everybody told me there's no temples in Gujarat. But my friend Deepak, he helped me a lot. And through him I met Narendra Modi 29 years ago, before he was, big guy. And through Deepak I got before it was PIO, now it's ICO or OCI. I don't know how he did it, but he did it. Deepak was like mafia, Gujarati mafia. But he was in land and spices, very wealthy man. And I was going from state to state, sleeping on buses, sleeping in bus stands, and I was wearing very little, because India is very hot. I just had my veshti, chadar and gamsha, my kamandalu and my karao. If there was some water, I would bathe and dry in 2 minutes, even with the same clothes on. It was a very easy life for me. No things. And I never had comfort. I was telling your son earlier about tapasya is how you get Bhagwan. Not so much for women, for men. They have to do all the tapasya. So Prahlad Maharaj says, only through tapasya the Lord will come to you. That's an amazing statement. And tapasya doesn't have to be crazy, hanging upside down for 1,000 years, or Hiranyakashipu standing on tippy toes, one toe for 60,000 years. Just mere sadhana, daily consistency. So when I went to Gujarat, I met Deepak. He had a big fancy Rolls-Royce Bentley. And he drove me all around Gujarat, each Narasimha temple, many Narasimha temples. And one temple he dropped, Gujarat, they have these lions. It's so fascinating. They just wander in the villages. You're having dinner and the lion comes on the street. It's very far out. And one Narasimha temple, the old lady was there worshipping. She was almost 100, worshipping this Ugra Narasimha outside of Ahmedabad. She told me I can spend the night. So Deepak dropped me off with her, and she let me stay inside the temple with Narasimha. And she shut the gates. But you could easily break these gates. And she locked it, and she said, I'll see you in the morning. So I was sleeping, trying to sleep, because I was excited. Narasimha is there, new temple. And then I woke up to this breathing, like, and she left the outside light on the mandapam, and there was the big lion. He was a big boy. When you see them in the zoo, they're different. When you see them in real life, in their territory, they're double the size. Because your eyes has this idea that you're protected, so they're smaller. So, he was looking right at me like, what are you doing in my place? And I was stunned. I was like, he could just break this door. I said, okay, Narasimha, I pushed my limits, because I was always pushing the limit. When you're single, you don't have a wife, and I never listened to anybody, my parents. I was always independent. Nobody was saying, oh, be careful, oh, beta, shanti karo. Bahut khatarnak, aram se. Nobody had this in my ear, so I was very fearless and crazy. So I thought, okay, now I've reached Gujarat, now I think I've run out of 9 lives or something. But the lion just sat down and he started licking like a cat, and his paws cleaning himself. And then he just went to bed. So I eventually fell asleep, and in the morning I woke up. The lady she opened the door. I jumped, startled. I thought it was the lion. And then I told her, I was like, Ma, there was a lion. She said, oh, yes. I've known him since he was baby. He comes every night. I said, why didn't you tell me? And she said, oh, he's part of he lives around here. Every night he comes, sleeps in front of the temple. I was thinking, wow. So yeah, it was such, and then through Rajasthan, the kings, all the kings, the Gujarati dynasty, Rajasthani dynasty, down to the southern, the Cholas, in Tamil Nadu, Cholas, Pallavas, Vijayanagars, Karnataka, the Hoysalas, Hoysalas, the Cholas, the list goes on. In Maharashtra, there was a woman. She was from Ramtek. So her husband was a Ram Bhakta, but she was a Narasimha Bhakta. So she got married, and the husband said, so we have to do this Ram Puja. No. I only do Narasimha Puja. So he said, when you're married, you have to pick and choose your arguments. So he was a smart king. He said, okay, she loves Narasimha, so I'm going to leave. And there was already a Narasimha temple in Ramtek from 2nd century. Huge 8-foot deity of Kevala Yoga Narasimha. And unfortunately, her husband, the king, he died very early. He got some disease. And before he died, she was such a good queen. She asked, my lord, my love, my pyar, what can I do for you when you are no longer here? And so he said, worship Narasimha. So she started worship. After he died, she started worshiping this deity, but the Brahmins were a little bit, wait a minute, you're a lady, you're the queen, you can't worship Narasimha. So she built another temple, hardly 100 feet, bigger temple, bigger deity for her to worship. And then she died in front of him while doing the last puja. She was like 102, I think she lived. So she was a very powerful Rani. So all these stories, and I was still young, and as I was traveling, I needed to have money. I ran out of money. So to keep my adventures going, I had to figure out, I don't want to go to America, because if I go to America, my parents are going to try to marry me, they're going to try to get me into this job, house, car, wife, and I was adamantly against all of that. I'm not telling the kids to, but it wasn't my nature at that time. So I was doing everything to stay in India. So Deepak Patel got me this PIO card, means I can stay in India as long as I want. No restrictions. So I started a little business in India. Another Patel, Jain, his name was. And my father had a big business in India, so I said, I will send you stuff from India and you sell it. This will keep me in India. So I kept doing this. So even though I had a business, I was constantly, I have to go to Varanasi, there's some product there. I found Narasimha temples. I have to go to Rishikesh, North Rishikesh. There's a Narasimha temple. I have to go to Kathmandu, hundreds of Narasimha temples. So every place I went was always something to do with Narasimha. Or I would ask somebody, the seniors, hey, I have to go to Bangladesh, buy some fabric. I have to check and see. Of course there was. But the Muslim invasion, so a lot of temples were destroyed. So I would find broken deities of Narasimha that they would destroy. It carried on like this the majority of my youth, from like 16 to 27. And then I would meet many ISKCON sannyasis on the way, because I was born in ISKCON. So I know all of them. They knew me. Radhanath Swami, Jayapataka Swami, Bhakti Vikas Swami, Gopal Krishna Swami, Bhakti Churu Swami. They were always somewhere, opening some temple. Bhanu Swami in Chennai. Who else? So many. And then I would meet them and they'd be like, what are you doing? I'm like, doing my Narasimha stuff. I'm going to this temple. You want to come? I would say, you want to come? So many adventures I had with many of your gurus. Nobody knows. We went to Narasimha temples. And it was incredible. It was like a wave that never ended. You're riding a wave. And then, of course, I ran into a wall called shadi, marriage. So I got married when I was much older. But I was smart. I had my terms. Narasimha will always be number one. Always. My seva, to my parents, this is dharma, so you have to respect your parents, so they're number 2. Then patni is maybe 3, 4, and this is tough for ladies, but this was my conditions if I'm going to get married. And I married a lady who, she was also born in ISKCON, Father and Mother Prabhupada disciples. So she understood this, and she also loved Narasimha. So she liked my addiction. Whereas many people get married and then they find out their husband or wife has a pretty strange addiction. Video game, or whatever, And so I had some leniency, and I was so independent. Nobody could tell me what to do. But wives tell their husbands what to do. The husband cannot tell the wife what to do. So it was a different, interesting dynamic for me. And I would say, Hare Mera Patni, I have to go to India. I'm going to see her. You can come. And we spent a lot of time in India anyways. But when you get married, the wife, she likes the house, the routine. I said, I told you, pehle marriage, pura baat karo. I told you. I said, this is a good addiction. Let me carry on. So I was lucky like this. And, after 10 plus years, seeing over 1,300 temples, still being married, doing my work, my business, and meeting incredible swamis, swaminis, men, women, children, unbelievable Narasimha Bhaktas. I was thinking, people started asking me, One of the first was this Sai Baba, you know, this little, he was like a midget with big hair. Very small guy. He was very good to me, he helped me a lot. Kripalu Sai Baba. You know, a lot of these fake God men, they call them. I met all of them because they all spoke English. And being in Andhra for 3-4 months, nobody speaking English, I needed to find, so I would find some swamis visiting, I would see some billboard and I'd be like, who is this? Where are they? Oh, they're in the matta. And then the swami would speak English. And Sai Baba, I was going, when you go from Karnataka to Ahobalam, you always go through Portapati. I didn't know what the hell Portapati was. But I would drive through there and I would see all these white people everywhere. I was like, wow, English. I can speak English. But they were very brainwashed, you know, like, Sai Ram, they would never say, I'd be like, hey, do you guys know where any Narasimha? Sai Ram. I'm like, I'm trying to find out where Narasimha is. So when I went into his darshan hall, Sai Baba, I refused to bow, you know, pranams, because I was looking at everything. I'm curious. Everybody's like, oh. And I was like, no, I want to see what's going on here. My first time. So the men were on the left, women were on the right, and it was like 5,000 plus people. It's like a football field. And Sai Baba's there. I was in the back, standing, staring, getting yelled at, and I didn't speak Kannada or Telugu, so I could always be like, I don't understand. Play ignorant, you know, and get away with it. So Sai Baba called me to his room after, and perfect English, sweet. So he was like, where are you from and what are you doing? I said, I was like, thank God you speak English. I was like, Swami, I need to find some Narasimha temples. And he goes, oh, have you been to Ahobalam? Have you been to this? Kadri Narasimha? Have you been to this Narasimha? Nilkoti Narasimha? He already started telling me many temples. I said, yeah, I've been to all of them, but I need more. He said, oh, I heard there's some, can I help you? I always joke and tell, I should have asked him for money, you know, he was unbelievably wealthy. But I said, you know, I need a translator. That would help me so much. Just getting the history, Stala Purana, correct history, because every temple I went, from Gujarat to Maharashtra, Kerala, Karnataka, they all said Narasimha appeared here. So I was so confused. I said, no, but he appeared in the Ahobalam. They said, yeah. But actually he appeared here. So it was very funny. It was this bhav that he belongs to them, to us, which was very inspiring me. Because it's not like envy where this is mine, don't touch. It was like a spiritual love type of a thing, rasa, you know, beautiful. So Sai Baba gave me translator and he gave me a driver. I said, no, I like the local transport buses. I would hitchhike. People would pick me up. You remember this old car, Scorpio? Remember in India, Scorpio? Most dangerous car in India? No, Scorpio. Ambassador is a good car. It's like a tank. But you could only do maybe 30 kilometers an hour, so slow. So he sent me a car and a driver, and we went, and he said, all I ask, when you come to Portapati, I want to see the photos. Because I had the 35 millimeter camera, and you used to go in India, there was thousands of photo, you just give the roll, and they would say, after 1 hour, the film's ready. So I would stop by and spend time with him and show him the photos. He was very kind. So many swamis, swaminis I met like this who helped me so much along the way. And then, of course, being in rural Karnataka, Andhra, Telangana, I was telling Prabhuji last night, I was so lucky. In Ahobalam, I could go into every temple and touch Narasimha and hug him, put my head on him, his feet, massage him, do abhishek. In Yadgiri Gutta, in Mattapalli, in Panakanashima temple, Simachalam. It was like this vortex of opening Nothing stopped me. So in ISKCON they say, get the nectar. So I just walk inside and touch Narasimha. And a lot of Brahmins in Andhra, they have their nap time. When the temple closes, 11, 12, they eat, and they eat a lot, and then they sleep. So 4, temple's supposed to open at 4, maybe they open at 7. It's beautiful. So sometimes I would show up and they'd be sleeping, and I'd be like, and the wife would answer, Swamiji? Archaka? And she would be like, she didn't know what I was saying, and I'd be like, Devasthanam? I just go like this, Devasthanam? And then sometimes the wife would just hand me the keys, and I'd be like, get up to the temple before the Brahmin wakes up. It was amazing. Or sometimes the keys were left on top of the door, and I would have a voice in my head, look up here, check up there. And then I would put my hand and, open. I would go inside, do puja abhishek, light the lamps, clean, and then lock, put it back. And sometimes I wondered, the Brahmins, they must have come back thinking, what happened? It was very funny. Oh God. Can you do me a favor? My phone under Narasimhadev, under the book, it's ringing, it's just an alarm. But I played dumb. Like I would go into these temples and I would just walk in and the Brahmins would be like screaming at me, like in Simhachalam. Anybody has been to Simhachalam here? So yeah, they cover him in chandam. The idol is hardly like this big, he's very small. So when I was like 16, I went there. It was the day before the big festival. I didn't know. There was no WhatsApp groups or Instagram. So everybody was sleeping. The chowkidars, security guards, and all the Brahmins. But the doors were wide open. So I walked inside and there was Narasimha. Baraha Narasimha sitting there. So I went up, did my obeisances, put my head on his feet, I touched him. There was some oil there was some water, I did abhishek. And there was all the chandan. So I still have one big piece, So the Brahmin, and then I sat and I was doing my japa quietly. Maybe 1 hour passed. And then the Brahmin came in, stretching from his nap outside, and he was shocked. And he started screaming at me in Telugu. I don't know what he was saying. I was like, Narasimha, chanting my japa. And he left me alone. I knew him for years, actually. He died. But he would always, when I would come back, he would always just let me come to the front. He was a very nice guy. But it was like that, So back then, nobody spoke English. Now everybody speaks English, so I can't get away with much. But sometimes I'll just say, if they're like, no, don't do that, don't touch. I'm like, Russian. No English, Russian. That's my new thing. Now they'll start learning Russian and it'll be impossible. So still the adventures are going on. I was just in Ahobalam last month and I was going with a group and we were coming from Bhargava Narasimha and the tiger jumped across the road. I know this tiger when I was young. He was the one that used to stalk me and follow me when I would walk alone in Ahobalam. All the Brahmins would tell me, don't do it. Never listen to them. Because the temples were all open. I would go myself and do puja and abhishek. So this guy, I saw him again, he jumped across. And then I got out, because I had not seen him for a long time, 10 plus years, He's a big male, and his paws are much bigger than my hand, and I was screaming at him, come back, because I wanted to see him after so long. I had many encounters with him in my life when I was young. And a few days earlier, he had almost killed a few guys. They were cutting wood, and he mauled on the back, and he bit one guy. He never bothered me, though. Always let me. I was sleeping in the cave. He slept outside the cave. For some reason, I don't know why. They pick up fear, and as a devotee, there's no such thing. Fear doesn't exist. If anybody here is like a scientist or psychologist, actually, fear is illogical. Danger is real. Khatarnak is real. If you don't wear your seatbelt, if you get in an accident, you can probably die. So it's dangerous. So wear your seatbelt. But fear, this is something we make up. Like, this is, devotees don't have this. Bhakta Prahlad was fearless. They were coming after to kill him. His father, his Pitaji, his Appa was like, I will now kill you. He had no fear. But as soon as I got married, all of a sudden I started, I have to be careful. It's a weird feeling for me. Or the wife, please, call me when you get there. I'm like, no. Why? Well, just in case something happens. I'm like, what do you mean nothing's going to happen? I've done more crazy things. I'm just driving to the grocery store. So this subtle, unneeded thing called fear comes into us. But worshipping Narasimha guarantees this fearlessness is removed, especially for married people. There's a lot of misconceptions in India. Don't worship Narasimha, he'll take from you. Don't worship Ugra Narasimha, a bunch of nonsense. It's not written in any Shastra, not in the Puranas, the Upanishads, nothing. Not in the Mahabharata, Ramayana, not in the Srimad Bhagavatam. No Swami says this, not Madhva, Shankara, Ramanuja. No. They actually say the Grihastha should worship Narasimha because Narasimha removes envy, jealousy, and greed. And these are the three diseases plaguing married people. She got a new car. Husband got her a new car. I want a new car. New bangles. He got a raise in his job. So I want a raise. Envy, jealousy. We don't have these as devotees. But then there are anarthas. Greed. So Prahlad says Narasimha is the remover of anarthas. What did Hiranyakashipu had? He envied his boy, like jealous. And it was never enough when he did tapasya for the first 10,000 years. Brahma came, and Hiranyakashipu was standing there. Imagine, you do tapasya for 10,000 years. Brahma comes, what do you want? Hiranyakashipu says, I want everything. Brahma said, 10,000 years, not so much tapasya. We can hardly sit for 1 hour. The pain comes. And Hiranyakashipu was so abhiman. What? Who has done the most tapasya? Bhrigu Maharishi. Vasistha. This one, that one. Okay. Boom. He did for like 62,000 years, standing on his tippy toes, and the skeleton with the pranavayu floating. And Brahma came. Brahma came with his head down. And we all know Brahma is Abhiman, it's his nature. And he came to Hiranyakashipu and he said, what do you want, my son? And Hiranyakashipu said, now you will give me everything. So he took the wives of the Nagas, the Naginis, their shapeshifters. He put them in jail just for fun. He took Indra's power. He took Indra's throne and threw it on the ground and said, this is garbage throne. I want you to make me a real one. The Ashvini Kumars, they can levitate. The Pischulas, the Yakshas, the Yakshi, he took all their power. No, the Vishnu Dutas, all these, some can levitate. All their mystic cities, there's 72. He took them all and kept them for himself, just for fun to torture them. And then when he was killed by Narasimha, because he was a great devotee of Narasimha, what did Narasimhadev do after he killed him? He sat in his throne. And the demigods were offering, Hare Bhagwan, I built you an asana, an altar, an asana, a throne. You never came and sat. They were crying and lamenting, but Bhagavan, I made you such a nice place. Why didn't you? But then this demon, you sit on his throne? You give him this blessing? Because it's a blessing. In the Puranas it says if you build a seat for Bhagavan and he sits, that's why if you worship Shalagam, it's Bhagavan. You put on an asana or gold. So much incredible success will come to you and your family, spiritually and materially. So all these amazing prayers are coming. Everybody says Hiranyakashipu was a demon. But was he? I don't think so. Hiranyakashipu is just filled with envy, jealousy, and greed. And who did Narasimha touch first? Besides, obviously, killing all the demons. But who did he put on his lap first? Prahlad or Hiranyakashipu? Hiranyakashipu. So we call him demon. If this is the case, I will be demon. He can put me on his lap. Hiranyakashipu, there's a form called Vira Narasimha. It means joyous. He's pulling Hiranyakashipu to place him. And he's hitting his crown off. And he's putting his fingers through his body. Imagine someone can put their fingers through you. And then he's praying to Shiva, Shankara. Oh my Lord, because he was a great devotee of Shiva. He said, your trident could not pierce through even Lord Shiva's trident could not pierce through Hiranyakashipu's body. Airavata and Indra's thunderbolt could not pierce my skin. How is it that these nails can go through them like butter? He's praying to Shiva. It was the first time Hiranyakashipu had fear. He realized, oh yeah, got them, finished. So, and then Narasimha's joyous, he's not angry. He's happy. I'm freeing Hiranya and I'm freeing Prahlad. So for Grihastas, Narasimha is the most, of course, I'm going to do Ganesha Puja. Who does Ganesh worship for his power? Narasimha. It's written. He worships Narasimha's padukas to get this potency of becoming remover of material obstacles. If you look in the Tantric Shastras, Kali, who does she get her power from? Narasimha. In the base of Tantra, the foundation of Tantra is Om Shrom, and this is Narasimha, and all mantras come from Tantra. Kali, Durga, Ganesha, Saraswati, they move in this realm. So who do they worship? Bhagavan. So what makes them more happy? You worshiping them, asking for things, or you worshiping them because they worship him? So it's very interesting. So when you worship, there's nothing wrong with this. I love Ganesh. I love Kali, Durga, Saraswati, because I know their prayers they offer to Narasimha. I love Shiva. Who loves Shiva? I love Shiva. Everybody, who loves Shiva? Unbelievable. He's, what is it? Hare Hara. Shivji was praying after he killed Ganesha. He chopped the head. Couldn't find the head. He's Bhagavan, Shiva. He doesn't have to do anything. He's always pure. But it doesn't mean he doesn't follow the rules and regulations. So he had to do some tapasya to become cleansed of this. So he was doing tapasya, and what is Shiva always thinking and preaching? Hari Katha. He's constantly meditating upon. They're one and the same but different. So while he was doing tapasya, Narasimha appeared. And he said, ask me anything. Mahadev, Shankara. Shiva said, I never want to be away from you. You cannot leave me. And Narasimha said, leave you? We are never apart. You are my Rudra. And he opened his third eye. So Vishnu is the creator, Rudra is the destroyer. They're one and the same but different. And Shiva understood, gave him such satisfaction. So he recited this mantra, Mantra Raja Pada Stotram, and many more beautiful prayers. We're going to chant this today. I think we should start, no? Yeah. Puram. So thank you so much for your time. When we're doing the homa, if the kids don't want to be here, them being here doesn't matter. The parent here is enough. We're going to be very close. Please no talking, even if you're refueling grains, because the portal is being opened. Agni is very powerful. When you do a homa, it's like a free invitation to ask and pray. And swaha, people, sometimes in a havan I hear them, swaha. What are you going to get then? No, you have to say, Mata, Pitta, my Lord, my Father, my Mother, kindly please bestow upon me, this is what I need. Please help me. Bhakti is there, but also you're married, you need stability, you need health, you need your wealth to stay. So Shri worships him. So pray for this. Don't be like, Be powerful when you say swaha. And throw this stuff in. Havan doesn't last so long. But when I say swaha, please say it very loudly. I'm asking you. And try not to get distracted. If the kids are, they don't need to be here. If the parents are here, they're already pure. We're the problem, not the kids. So we need this. So yes, obviously the teenagers, so let's do this incredible homa, Narasimha homa, which all the acharyas, whether from north, south, east, west of India, even in Indonesia, the priests do Narasimha homas. In Nepal, you think, in Nepal, surely the most powerful homa must be the Bhairavi or Kali homa. No, it's the Narasimha homa. Why? Because these nails of Narasimha have to tear out our obstacles and our anarthas. So I'm very excited to be here with you, and I'm so grateful that I was invited here by Prabhuji and his wonderful wife and their kids as well. They got the kids of the future. So